Welcome to Ancestors and Aunties. This is the podcast for Black women leaders who are looking to prioritize themselves, stop putting other people's needs first so they protect their peace without feeling guilty or feeling like they have to do it all alone. So, this is for you if you show up strong on the outside but secretly struggling on the inside. These conversations are for you. So, hello, I am your host, Kim-Monique Johnson. I refer to myself as a recovering HR executive turned energy leadership coach. And in these conversations, we reflect on the teachings of our ancestors, known or even unknown, and reflect on the everyday brilliance of our aunties, our elders, women who show us the way, women who've held us, or told us even some truths that maybe we weren't ready to hear in a moment. So this is more than a conversation. This is like a return to yourself. And I'm so excited to have my guest here with me to help us do that, to help us remember, to reclaim the holy, joyful art of being a Black woman in the world. All right. So that's our theme. And I am thrilled to be joined by Vanessa Matthews. I'll say a little bit about Vanessa, but first, Vanessa, please just say hello and share your smile so I can share a little bit about you.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. So, Vanessa, a little bit about her if you don't know Miss Matthews. She is a former Oklahoma City police officer from the years of 1990 to 2012, y'all. That is no joke. And Vanessa was instrumental in developing the Oklahoma County Drug Court from 1998 to 2009, also a tremendous tenure of time. Vanessa's expertise includes mental illness, drug recognition, communication, team building, drug testing, putting all that into program development and grant writing, community supervision, and psychopharmacology, particularly for first responders. Vanessa was appointed to the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board in 2014, and she did such a fantastic job, they had her reappointed in 2015 and elected her to be the chair. So they really wanted you back, right? Yeah. Vanessa holds degrees, an associate degree in applied police science from Oklahoma State University, and a bachelor's in criminal justice from the University of Central Oklahoma. And just in July 2020, she was elected to the National NAMI, you have to tell us what that is, Board of Directors. And in May 2023, she joined the IACP Mental Health Work Group. So we know Black women show up at all the acronyms. So you're going to tell us what those are, sis. And before you do that, right, please just tell us, aside from your celebrated work and contributions, particularly in the field of criminal justice, just how are you these days? How are you spending your time these days?
Life is better than it ever has been before. I just turned 60 in September and yay,
Oh,
right?
yes,
And
yes.
these years are years where number one, I realized that I am now the auntie.
Mm, yes.
Passing knowledge on to younger generations. And that has probably been the
Mm,
most fabulous thing for me to mentor women under between 25 and 40 and to see me share my stories so
mm,
that they don't have to have some of the bad experiences that I had, but they can learn the lessons that I learned and share those and apply them to their life. So it's amazing right now.
I love that. I love that. I'm gonna be so corny and be like, 60 where? Like where 60? Come
All
on.
over, baby.
I know, right? Doesn't
It
it get
is
better?
what it is, and I love what it is.
57, I was like, it gets better, right? It's like it gets
It
better in terms
does.
of, but let's start there. What's better for you at 60 than at 59, 58, 40, 30?
Oof. The first thing is I don't have time for foolishness.
Hmm.
Life is so short, and I have come to the realization that if it's not going to make a difference tomorrow,
Yeah.
don't worry about it today. Let today take care of today. And
Mm,
people always say you only live once, and I disagree
hmm.
with that. You only
Hmm.
die once. You live every
Ooh,
single day. And
that's a
that's what I've
bar.
been doing is just living every day.
I love that. I love that. Not focusing on, what you can't control and like what happens later, like living right now. Yes. Okay.
100%.
Well, that's a bar. Yes. Thank you for that. So, what I'd like to do next, in honor of the theme of our podcast, right? Ancestors and Aunties, I'd like to start with a quote from Alice Walker and just see what resonates with you, Vanessa, as you hear me recite her words, okay?
Okay.
So, Alice Walker shares, to acknowledge our ancestors means we are aware that we did not make ourselves, that the line stretches all the way back, perhaps to God or to gods. We remember them because it is an easy thing to forget that we are not the first to suffer, rebel, fight, love, and die. The grace with which we embrace life, in spite of the pain, the sorrow, is always a measure of what has gone before. That's Alice Walker.
Mm. So,
Mm.
the thing that probably resonates the most with me out of all of that is
Mm-hmm.
grace extended
Mm.
is
Mm-hmm.
grace received, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so what that means is that along the way, our ancestors had enough in them to realize how important grace was, even when we were faced with
Yeah.
tumultuous situations. And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, it taught us some lessons about perseverance and
Mm-hmm.
staying in it and stick to itness, as my great grandmother used to say. She said, "You got to have some stick to itness, baby."
Yeah.
And basically that what that means is that times are tough, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing here before you today, and my times are much tougher than what yours were. So I
Mm.
know it's in you to move forward. Yeah.
Calling her great grandmother. I love that. Yeah, so,
Hmm.
so that's what I would love to hear more about. When you think about ancestor, along with your great grandmother, right? Like, who else may come to mind, whether you knew them or not, when you hear the word ancestor?
So I honestly think in three realms. One of
Mm,
the realms is how my family got to America some 7, 8 generations ago, right? And I actually did the history of that and actually found this Harrington family that was a white family that actually used to be a part he was a duke
mm,
in the Queen's Court in England. And then
mm,
they had a falling out and he went to Ireland.
mm-hmm,
And from Ireland, he came to Mobile, Alabama, and then from Mobile up to where we were in northwestern Alabama. And he had two families. He had
mm,
a white family and he had a black family,
mm,
and they knew about each other.
mm-hmm,
And he fought in the Civil War, he was a major in the Civil War, and when he passed on, of course, my great 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 grandmother was free at that time, but he left her a significant amount of land, which we
mm,
still hold in our family today. And
mm,
so I think about what was he thinking,
yeah,
what was his rationale, and
mm,
how did that work for him? But the
mm,
other thing I think about is two really really significant women in my life, and that was my grandmother, Allie Mae Alden. She
yeah,
had, when you think of the song Grandma's Hands,
yeah,
and you see the picture of how strong, but how
mm,
hardworking and how worn that grandma's hands were. That was my grandmother.
yeah,
And so she taught me
mm,
that everything that has value will be valued more if you work hard to get it.
mm,
And then Rosemary, was a distant relative that I lived with the first 6 years of my life because I didn't live with my mom or my dad.
mm-hmm,
And she taught me unconditional love. And the
mm,
takeaway from her, she passed away when I was 6 of cancer, but
mm,
the takeaway from her was simply this: I need you to see you the way God sees you,
mm,
not the way man tells you you are seen.
mm,
And when I finally learned to
yeah,
embrace that, I
yeah,
realized that my beauty was not a surface thing. It was something that was inside. And so from
mm,
that, I look at people and I really look at my people are good humans. I
mm-hmm,
don't care
yeah,
about anything else. I
yeah,
just want to be around good
yeah.
humans that walk it like they talk it.
That's so beautiful. Wow, what a powerful message, right? From grandmother Allie Mae, from Rosemary, right? Giving you a sense of unconditional love and the sense of working hard too, right? Yeah. And I'm curious about that too, right? Like, sometimes as Black women, we can equate, right, so much of what we feel we deserve by how hard we work,
Mhm.
and I'm wondering about that too for you. Like, do you ever feel like, you got to work really, really hard in order to get the things that you deserve?
I just had a conversation with someone about this about a week and a half ago. And I said, the difference between you and I is that we can show up with the same qualifications,
Mm,
but I have to prove myself and you
mm-hmm,
just have to show up.
mm,
And so the thing that I learned was, and I learned this from my grandmother actually, is
mhm.
that you show up like that's your room. You
Yes.
own it.
Yes.
You walk in the authority that you were given. You are
Mm-hmm,
in there for a reason.
mm-hmm,
You go with the boldness like they've never seen before.
Mm,
And that is how you pull people to you. You have that magnetic personality that people want to listen to you. You
mm,
know, I think about their suffering and their sacrifice that
mm.
built the way for me to
Yeah,
thrive and triumph, right? And
right.
so I cannot disrespect that by number
Mm,
one, not working hard. But
yeah.
my working hard is an internal thing. It's never based upon what the person next to me is doing. I set goals
Ooh,
for myself.
yes.
And I think that it's really important that we do that because when we start that comparison thing, you know,
Mm-hmm,
with social media, here's the thing we have. We see people
mm-hmm.
say couple goals. You
Right,
know,
right,
when you see
right.
a couple, I don't have no couple goals for nobody else. I don't want to be like them
You don't
because
be like
I don't
them.
know what they've been through. I want to be the
Yeah.
person in a relationship that God designed me to be because we
Mm-hmm.
don't know what kind of hell that they
Yeah.
were going through. And I reflect back on my life,
Mm-hmm.
25 years of marriage.
Mm,
And on the outside, it looked like, you know, we were like the power couple. We were doing
right.
the most. And, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I was living in hell for a large majority of my life. And I
Mm.
just didn't know I was living in hell because I had become acclimated to it. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think it's really important that we release
Mm-hmm.
ourselves from what others say is
Mm-hmm.
hard work and we define it for ourselves, right?
Ooh, I love that. Yes, because I mean, as you're sharing it, holding both of those jewels, gems from your grandmothers, right? Working hard for
Hmm.
you, not to have to prove yourself to anybody else, owning the room, because you also have that gift of unconditional love, right? That acceptance of yourself. That's a beautiful pairing, Vanessa. That's not something that many of us carry, you know? Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing
Absolutely.
that. Yeah, yeah. And so let's talk more about that because I'm like, let's get into the good, right? Like, what is it like to be that person, the only one often, right? A black woman in the Oklahoma City Police Department carrying your grandmother's wisdom. Talk
Mm.
about that experience.
I always reflect back on those years and I remind myself of what my great grandmother used to say, and it was, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, how can you not know what you don't know until you're sitting in a meeting and you
Yeah,
hear somebody say something and you're like, I didn't
yeah.
know that. And then
Mm-hmm.
grandma's voice rings in my head, right? And so one of the that I say that to say that one of the things I always had to recognize is that regardless of what room I went in and who was in that room, I'm always going to be one of one. I'm
Mm,
unique.
mm-hmm.
God
Mm-hmm.
made me for a reason. He made you
Yes.
for a reason. And
Yes.
so when we can walk in that,
Mm-hmm.
although we're faced with challenges, we can handle them with grace and
Mm-hmm.
professionalism and respect. And
Mm-hmm.
I think back to, I won't mention the state, but I went to a state and I was not only the only person of color, but the only female in the room.
Mm.
And it was tough.
Yeah.
And by the time we finished got to our first break, we came back and they were inviting me to come up for vacation. They loved me, you know, but
Yeah.
it's all about you knowing who you are,
Yeah.
and being willing to own that, regardless of what someone else is going to think about you, because
Mm-hmm.
you are absolutely amazing. And people
Mm-hmm.
take the chance to get to know the real you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You remind me. I think it's oh gosh, was it Zora Neale Hurston who said like, I don't understand why somebody want to discriminate against me. I'm fabulous. Like, why wouldn't you want to be around me? Right? It's
You
like that total flip, like reframe as black women. It's like, no, it's not that, I have to like be different to be around you. You get to be around me.
get to be around me. And you know, Kim, I have to give accolades where they're due.
Yeah.
I probably learned that from you in 2000,
Oh.
when we first started training together, and you just showed up as you were
Mm.
this bold, tall, locks in your hair. You just had a definition of who you were, and you walked in that room like, don't play with me. And when I say don't play with me, go to Mattel, don't come to me because I'm not playing with you. I know what I know. And I think
Mm.
that boldness, I
Mm.
said to myself, I want to walk in rooms like that.
Oh,
So in
wow.
many ways, my speaking career has been based on things I learned from you 25 years ago. That's such a long
Mm.
time ago.
Oh.
But yeah, you carried me and you gave me this tenderness for humanity that you don't often see in women that have had to face what we have had to face, knowing our own personal stories and everything. You
Mm-hmm.
never lost that tenderness. And so I would say this to anyone out there,
Mm-hmm.
find your tenderness. And I
Mm.
promise you that God will not allow it to be misused. He will not.
Mm. Oh, look at you about to make me cry over here. See?
I love you, girl.
I love you too. And I love that we get to do this, right? I love that we get to profess our love and appreciation and uplift each other in this format, that'll be forever and ever, right? That other people will get to come back to it and listen to it, right? For the moment that it is, yes, and for what it can become later, right? So thank you, because, we had some times. And so for the folks out there who don't know, we've had opportunities to train police officers, judges, probation officers, and yes, drug treatment counselors on how they can be more accepting and welcoming of all different folks when folks are struggling with addiction, right? How they can be met with that grace. And, you stood up in those rooms as a former police officer. Talk about speaking truth to power, right? Uh, what would you say, Vanessa, was the most important message that you wanted those folks to carry away with, right? Particularly when they were being met with folks that didn't look like them, Black men who were being arrested for having a substance use problem. Like, what did you want them to really know and feel when you spoke to them?
Two things. Okay. The first thing is, but for a circumstance,
Mm-hmm.
it could be you.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that substance use disorder has no respect of person. We know
Mm-hmm.
that substance use disorder and mental health issues are hereditary. They are a DNA thing. And
Yeah.
then the second thing that I wanted people to hear from me is, if it were your parent, if it
Mm-hmm.
were your sister, if it were your loved one,
Yeah.
how would you want us to respond to them?
Yeah.
And that's just simply being a good human.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. And then, let's think about the impact of that, right? So, what
Mhm.
have you seen in terms of the results of working in, drug treatment court, working in these settings that are helping people turn their lives around? What have you seen as the results?
Hope.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that quote, without vision, the people perish.
Yeah.
In this field, without hope,
Yeah.
people can't find a way to hang on.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have the opportunity to teach people
Yeah.
how to reach people by just simply giving them hope,
Right.
I, I think has been the most rewarding thing
Mm-hmm.
that I have ever been a part of in my entire life, as a part of the
Mm.
work that I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so beautiful because you and I know just how so many people are being like impacted, affected by substance use disorder, by addiction, by, mental health challenges. And to hear you say that, right? Like there are systems where people do still have hope, right? Where people are still doing the work because they can see the impact, they can see the results.
Right.
And the hope is not just for the individual who has the addiction, but for their families and their partners, right? Who wonder, can they get better? Can they recover? And so your message is one of, yeah, we have hope because we see it. We see the recovery.
Also boils down to connectedness. Although I wasn't raised by my mother or my mother passed away when I was 14, and the last year and a half of her life, I took care of her. So I was 12
Mm,
and a half, turning 13 until I turned 14.
mm,
And I don't hold any ill will. I want to be clear about that.
mm-hmm,
But the situations that I was put in as a result of not being raised with her were situations that gave me connectedness and
mm-hmm,
hope.
mm-hmm.
And because of that,
Yeah,
I know the value of it as I go out and I interact with people and I see them
mm,
and have an opportunity to hear their stories. And
mm-hmm,
it builds me up. It refills me. The work we do is so exhausting.
yeah,
And you have to have, people use that quote now, work-life balance.
mm-hmm,
You have to have mental health balance as a part of that too. And that kind of
mm-hmm.
takes me back to earlier, in one of the acronyms you used was NAMI, and
Right.
that's NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I served on their
Mm,
national board
mm-hmm.
for 2 terms.
Yeah,
And knowing that we can connect them to resources like that in the community that are free resources for them to grow and to grow and to get
yeah,
that hope and to
yeah.
educate those family members on the
Mm,
struggles that people face, because it's
mhm.
just like a person that goes to prison and their
Yeah,
whole family's incarcerated as
right,
well. When a
right.
person is dealing with substance use disorder and mental health issues,
Yeah,
that's a family disease. The
yes,
whole family is dealing with it. And so I think that's, again, it's not only just hope for the people that we serve that have this affliction, but it's
yeah,
also for their family members to see, I can
yeah,
stand up and say, listen,
yeah,
we can win, but
right.
we got to be willing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. And just also real talk too, representation matters, right?
Mm,
Like knowing that if a family member, if the loved one, right, in our Black family is having to go before a judge or having to go before a drug treatment, like, court, there's someone like you there, right? We don't often see, but
absolutely.
there's someone like you there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you talk about being the one in the room. In
Mm-hmm.
many situations, especially when I'm traveling and doing training,
Mm-hmm.
I'll interact with people in the lobby, and they'll
Yeah.
think I'm a participant. And then we get into the classroom, and
Right.
their whole interaction with me changes because they're like, "Oh, that was a
Right.
girl in jeans and a sweatshirt yesterday. That was
Yeah.
I was rude to her, you
Right.
know."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't treat them any different. There's
Mm-hmm.
indifference in it, you know, because I
Mm-hmm.
tell people all the time the
Yeah.
worst thing you can say is you don't see color. Because
Mm-hmm.
I need you to see me as a Black female so that you understand the things
Yeah.
that I'm faced with that the next female was not faced with. And it was simply by birth.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing against that person. I'm not hating on them. But I
Yeah.
need you to recognize that those struggles are a little bit different for me.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. As you carry, again, the wisdom of your grandmothers, right? Your great grandmother, right? It's different for you. It's different for you. And so talk about that though, right? Talk about what about it being different that makes it even more important for you, right? To prioritize your self-care. What makes it different?
You know, I didn't always prioritize my
Mm-hmm.
self-care. I was always taking care of everyone else, and I was the fixer. And
Mm,
I share my personal stories in training. I try to be very transparent
mm-hmm.
and create an atmosphere of psychological safety so people can feel supported and valued and seen.
Yes.
And as I look back at that, what I realized was that therapy, number one, I
Mm-hmm.
went to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I still have a therapist because
Yeah.
if I don't have a therapist, it's something wrong with me. you know, uh,
Yeah.
and I want those things to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And having a therapist
Mm-hmm.
and building healthy boundaries for myself and
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
family members that I was so enabling to before. They call me now and they're like, well, such and so and so. And I'd be like, you're really smart. You're gonna figure that out. Oh, look, my refrigerator's ringing. I'll call you back. Hang up because you're gonna figure that out.
You gotta
I'm
figure
not
it out.
Staples easy button no more.
Yeah, yeah. You took the
So
cape off.
empowering them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I took the cape off, I took it to the cleaners, and it is in the museum. I'm not putting it back on. I'm absolutely not putting that cape back on. I'm good like
Yeah.
t-shirt and jeans. I'm good.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's so like think about that. Took the cape off and it's like, you know what? It served for a minute. So I'm not burning it, but I'm gonna just it's in a museum. I'm gonna place it over there. I can look at it. Y'all can look at it. Y'all can know what it symbolizes, but it ain't on me no more. Yeah, I feel you on that one. I feel you.
That's
And
the old,
what's that?
the old I'm not doing her no more.
Not doing her no more. Yeah. Yeah. And then sometimes when we take that cape off, though, we're faced with, okay, now who am I, right? Who am I if I'm not the fixer? And how am I going to fill that space when I was used to filling it serving someone else, you know?
I really start to see the importance of that when I left the police department and
Mm-hmm.
I had other things in my life because my world didn't revolve around the police department. I had other healthy connections. And
Mm-hmm.
then I compared my leaving and departure from the department to other folks who within,
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 years of leaving the department, they had a stroke or
Mm.
had some type of health condition or
Yeah.
affliction. And, either that or they passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a part of that is that when you pour so much of yourself into a
Yeah.
situation, a profession, a person,
Right.
that when that person, that situation, that profession no longer stands beside you, you're
Yeah.
empty, you
Yeah.
know? And
Mm-hmm.
I just thank God that I found the wisdom to make sure that I filled myself up with other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I laugh all the time. I'm like, this is my third try at retirement, but I hope I get it right this time. I'm tired of working, but I got this thing called bills, so
Right.
that's the job.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Third time at trying, but yeah, you have
Yeah.
your eye on the prize, though, right? You have a future goal you're working toward,
Oh,
clearly.
I indeed.
Yeah, yeah. Can you share a little about that? Like, what's on the horizon for Vanessa?
I think on the horizon for me is my ability to volunteer
Mm-hmm.
my expertise
Mm-hmm.
to entities or organizations that cannot afford to pay me to do it,
Mm,
That's my retirement job
mm,
I'm not collecting any money. I
yeah.
will be financially in a good space. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing I want to put a pin in right there is
Sure.
make sure that you're managing your finances.
Ooh.
I can't tell you how important that is. And I'm telling you because it's firsthand knowledge. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Leaving a divorce and leaving a marriage. And I literally walked away with
Mm,
nothing
mm,
and lived in this dream home on a golf course on 2 acres. It was amazing. And
mhm,
I walked out with the clothes on my back and my work computers. And
mm,
that was it.
yeah.
And I didn't know, but
Mhm,
the thing that was whispered in my ear as I left was, and I
yeah.
never looked back either.
Yeah.
That's important. I never looked back.
Yeah.
And but the thing that was whispered in my ear by God was is that I make all things new.
Mm.
So custom built home now, third brand new car, just killing the game
Uh-huh.
and enjoying it. And that's not me bragging, but that's me bragging. It's not
Yeah.
bragging about me, but it's bragging about the blessings.
Right.
And that came from obedience, right?
Mhm,
I
mhm,
never allowed anybody to move me out of my character. And I think
mhm.
that's the most important thing that we are challenged with as Black women.
Yeah.
People want us to come into their environment and acclimate to them.
Right. Right.
And my goal is this. I'm
Mhm.
going to go into that environment and better it,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like.
Right.
Whatever
Right.
that
Right.
looks like,
Yeah. Yeah.
when I have folks that come to work for me, my
Mhm,
goal is for them to work themselves out of a job or into a higher level.
mm,
And so far, I've had 4 people that have done
mhm,
that,
mhm.
went to a higher level, and that's exciting. Those are jewels in my crown, right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That
I
kind of
love
stuff.
it. Right. I can tell that brings you joy.
It does.
Yeah, and something you shared was so powerful, right? The idea of knowing, like, when you walk away, there's something else that's being made open for you, right? Or prepared
Mhm.
for you, right? I don't have the biblical verse around that, but this idea of walking away from something, leaving something behind, there's no measure on the amount of peace and joy that you walk away with, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Saying
Yeah.
it goes back to in the Bible, it's reference to Job, right? How he
Hmm.
lost everything,
Hmm.
and people's like, curse God and die. Job was like, no, that's my dog. I know it looks rough right now, but we about to pull this together,
Yeah. Yes.
and God truly has pulled it together for me. And I don't want anyone to think that I am Pollyanna. This is a
Hmm.
perfect world that I live in. I catch hell every day.
Hmm.
That's real. I catch hell every day about something, but
Hmm.
hell doesn't catch me. And that's
Mm.
the difference, right?
Mhm,
You
mm.
can catch hell every day, but don't let hell catch you. And
Yeah,
what that simply means is don't ascribe to your
right.
circumstances.
Yeah.
Remain true to who you are, and it's going to work out.
Mhm.
Today takes care of today, and tomorrow I get up and let it do its thing too.
Right, it's a
That's it.
reset. Every day is a reset, right?
Every day, every
Every day above
day.
ground is a reset.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes. So what else helps you stay in joy and stay in peace, particularly when you're catching hell, as you say, particularly when this environment all around us can feel hellish, right? What helps you
Remember
find joy
earlier
and peace?
before we started, I told you I had this prop
Yeah.
that I was going to bring in.
Uh-huh.
I think you just gave me a great segue to bring this prop in. And I
Yeah.
need to give you a little bit of the backstory first before I show it to you. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say this. I would encourage everyone, every woman that's listening to this, but
Mm-hmm.
especially women that look like me,
Mm-hmm.
um, to find your thing that makes you feel intelligent,
Mm.
makes you feel powerful and
Mm-hmm.
empowered and
Yeah.
beautiful and
Yes.
sexy. And
Yeah.
it just so happens, you know what I'm about to do, right?
Oh, yes, stiletto.
So I tell people all the time, I had these before Aretha Franklin was buried in them. Okay, that's how long I've had these.
What?
But it's something about, and you remember the time we were in training and the
I do
judge, and we were
remember.
in the car, and I had a fit because we passed by this store, and these shoes were in the window. I was like, oh my God. Oh,
Yeah.
that's, and I started explaining it to him. And I think he had
Boy,
a
did
moment
you.
to himself, you know,
Did you?
you
Look,
know, and
this ain't a family-friendly podcast. We can go there. This woman, y'all,
listen,
this is what
this
happened.
is,
Yes, go
this
ahead.
shoe is a precursor to everything that is important to me. It is a
Mm,
precursor to everything that I value because
mm,
when I look down at my feet, and I tell
mm.
people all the time because I've had men that, doing this whole dating thing, right? It's trash, but
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
And men tell me that, well, you appear to be high maintenance. And I say to them, you're not paying none of my bills right now. I'm maintaining myself. So what are
right,
you even talking about?
right.
And I use that example to say,
Mm-hmm.
If I want to spend $900 on a shoe and I
Yes.
got $900 to spend on a shoe and my
Mm-hmm.
bills are paid, I'm
Ain't no
buying that shoe.
ain't no
Period.
budget
I'm
business.
buying that shoe.
That's
And
right.
and and the reason I do that is because
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
I'm in that classroom,
Yeah.
when I'm in that courtroom, when
Yes.
I'm in that training or interacting with people, if
Mm-hmm.
all else fails, I look down and I say, "Ain't nobody got no shoes on like this." So I'm set apart. What the kids say, clock it. Clock it. I'm clocking it.
Clogging it.
And and
Yes.
and to walk in that authority, figuratively speaking, and
Yes.
literally as a taller person. And
Mm-hmm.
we remember that
Mm-hmm.
we stand taller
Yes.
because our aunts and
Yes.
our grandmothers
Yes.
and our great grandmothers
Yes.
allowed us to. We're
Mm,
standing on their shoulders. So
mm-hmm.
walk
Mm.
strong, walk firm, but
Yes.
walk sure-footed in this
Yes.
journey because we're greatness. We're
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And again, the analogy, right, of thinking that we're able to stand, right, because of what they did. And we can
Right.
stand, and I can't imagine because I wear wingtips. So are those stiletto? What
Yeah.
are those like 4 inches? My goodness,
No, these are five.
5.
Yeah, these are five.
Stand tall, and look how thin. What? Oh, I
So
love it. I
she
love it.
balances out everything. She sets them girls up on their front and she sets that thing up on its back.
I
And
know
listen,
that's
and they just go on, they just go on. And
right.
it's funny too that I've always loved shoes and I got
Hmm.
that from my grandmother actually,
Hmm. Hmm.
but I'm known in this,
Hmm.
we have over 4,000 treatment courts in
Yeah.
this country and internationally.
Yes.
And I am known by the shoes that I wear.
Uh,
Everybody says, "Can I take a picture of your shoes?"
that's hot.
That's my signature thing, but they don't
Yeah.
understand the connectedness that is
Yeah.
for me
Yeah.
with regard to that.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
having said that, here's one thing I want to say that
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
don't want to skim over as it relates to things like this. Those
Mhm.
outside beauties are
Yeah.
so important in how you value yourself. Do what's right for you.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all, Kim rocks them wingtips, baby. Can't nobody do it like she can. Except I'm not going to. I'm not about to wear. I had a guy that wanted to date me, and he said, "Well, we're gonna go into the rodeo." I said, "Well, I won't be doing that because my shoes don't go to the rodeo." He said, "Well, put on some boots." I was like, "I'm not
I don't
putting on
wanna
no
wear no
boots. What's
boots.
wrong with you, right?" But this over the summer we had our
Yeah.
national conference, and one of my very dear friends came up to me at a meeting we were having, and he said, "Can
Mhm.
I talk to you for a minute?" He's been
Mm.
like a big brother to me. He's
Mhm.
walked with me through this journey of my
Mhm.
divorce, and he and his
Mm.
wife are a beautiful example of the reason that I know that love still exists.
Yes.
And he said to me this summer, he
Mm.
said, "I just want to tell you this, and I want you to take it in the context that it's given. And I
Mm.
mean this from a good place." He
Mm.
said, "You are the most beautiful that you have ever been right
Ooh.
now." And I
Ooh.
just got teary-eyed and I said, "John, I don't even know how to
Right.
take, I don't know. I'm not doing anything different." He said,
Mhm.
"You are doing everything different." He said, "The
Wow.
difference is that you have allowed yourself to heal from the inside out. And
Mhm.
that's where your beauty was held before. And now it's seeping
Mm.
out." I was
Wow.
like, "I
Wow.
sure am."
Yes,
And
so much
and so
so.
yes, and
Mhm.
so the message in that is that a lot of times what we end up doing is bridling ourselves
Yeah.
because of all the things that we went through.
Mhm.
Life happened,
Mhm.
trauma happened, good
Mhm.
things and bad things happen, but
Yeah.
we tend to focus more on
Mhm.
those challenging moments
Yeah.
and not realize that I just did this thing about being trauma proof. And
Mhm.
people thought I was going to talk to them about how to proof yourself from
Yeah.
getting exposed to trauma.
Yeah.
But what I was simply saying is that if you stand here today and
Yeah.
you have survived a trauma, you are
Yes.
proof that
Yes.
the next person can do it too. Your story matters.
Yes, yes, exactly. It's like your trauma story, your pain, and your ability to share it, right, is someone else's liberation, is someone else's
Mhm.
invitation, right, to their own liberation, their own healing. That's so beautiful. And let's just go back to that shoe though, because show it again for the people, right? And
That's
for
that's
those,
okay,
yes,
right?
for those who are listening to this podcast, Vanessa is holding you have to describe this. I don't know if you're going to describe it quite the way you described slipping your foot into a shoe that had the judge
Okay.
almost drive
So
off the
now,
road.
so this is the Christian Louboutin
Uh-huh.
100 millimeters Socate. It is the shoe that Gladys Knight was buried in. No, that was Aretha Franklin. I'm
Ooh,
sorry,
don't
Gladys.
scare me. Don't scare me.
My God, sorry, Gladys. My bad. But Aretha Franklin
Yeah.
was buried in this
Mm-hmm.
shoe. As you take this shoe out,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person that I will get the shoe first, and the outfit goes with it. And
Mm.
so the last time I wore this shoe, I
Yeah.
had on a black velvet dress, and I had a
Yeah.
big red hat brooch.
Uh-huh.
Red's my favorite color. I had a
Yeah.
big red hat brooch on it, and then I make body butter, so I have
Mm-hmm.
my legs slicked up with that body butter and glistening. And as I rub that body butter over my
Mm-hmm.
feet and down across my ankles and across part
Mm.
of my foot to prepare it to slide into this shoe, I slid her in to this
Yes, you
shoe.
did. Yes, you
And
did.
then as I slid her into the shoe, it's really important that you rub your hands up your leg to remind yourself, your sexy touch, girl. You doing the most, girl. You got the thing, girl. You better walk it like you talk it, girl.
Yes.
Listen, this shoe right here gets the
Uh-uh.
bills paid. This
Yes.
shoe gets the bills paid. Yeah. I'm
Holla.
trying to be mortgage free.
Holla.
I'm trying to be mortgage free. And a shoe like this will do it to you.
It'll do it.
And it's not necessarily that it's going to be somebody else that pays that bill, but it empowers you to
Yeah.
walk into spaces where you can pay the bills. And I tell people all the time, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be Oprah Winfrey. I want to
Mm-hmm.
be the person that can pay Oprah Winfrey. Those
Mm-hmm.
are my goals for
Mm-hmm.
myself, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so in looking at that and
Mm-hmm.
looking at, I got 3 closets full of shoes.
Yeah.
I need to get rid of some of them, but I wear every one of them. And oh my gosh, just if you just touch this shoe,
You just, yeah,
girl,
yes, yeah. I see
this is
it.
my baby. She's, she's
Vanessa is lovingly cuddling up to her
I
stiletto. All
am.
those other
I
words, I don't know what they were. It's another language to me, but those shoe aficionados out there, y'all know what that is.
Christian Louboutin 100 millimeters
I
so
love
cake.
it. I
I've
love
got
it.
about 8 pair of them,
Yes.
and they just empower me in ways. Sometimes, honestly, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a bad day, and I've
Yeah.
had over the last 3 months, I've been faced with some challenges. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
honey, I'll put on my shoes and walk around the house so I can
Yes.
remind myself who I am because I'm the same
Absolutely.
inside and outside. Right,
Yes.
you gonna get me simply. It's funny sometimes I'm all tatted up, right? I've got
Mm-hmm.
tats,
Hmm.
all
Yes.
over
Yes.
here, and all over my body. And
Mm-hmm.
if I wear something sleeveless, sometimes it's deliberate when I
Mm-hmm.
go into a room because I know I'm
Mm-hmm.
the only one, and
Right.
I'm walking there like I wish you would.
Right. Of course. Of course. Tatted
I
in
wish you would.
stilettos. Yes.
In my stilettos, right.
Yes.
and
Yes.
and I think the thing that I take a look at is I think back over my life
Mhm.
and the story of love and hope
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
humility that has been
Yeah.
instilled in me. I
Mhm.
didn't know we were poor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that is because I was focused not on materialistic things, but
Mhm.
focused on things that matter in life, right?
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
have the real longevity. Now, those shoes, am I gonna have a fit if I never get another pair of Christian Louboutins? I'm not.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen though, but I'm
Right.
just saying I'm
Right.
not.
Right.
Because the things I value is things
Mhm.
as simple as the connection that I have with you, right?
Mhm.
Our
Mhm.
friend group,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I just a picture popped up that was a memory of when we were in California
Yeah.
in March.
Yes.
And I just got a big old smile on my face because I looked at that picture and I
Mhm.
thought the years of knowledge and interaction that have been imparted on me simply
Mm.
because I knew you, right? And
Mm.
that goes back to that connectedness,
Connection, yeah.
despite the fact that I
Mhm.
wasn't raised by my mother and father, I was still family connected.
Right.
And that family connectedness empowered me. It
Mhm.
reminded me of humility, and it
Mhm.
reminded me of how important it is to build as
Mhm.
opposed to tear down,
Yeah.
People say all the time that it costs nothing to be a
Mhm.
decent human being.
Mhm.
And then other people say it costs nothing to not be either. Both are true, right?
Right?
Two things can be true at the same time. But
Mhm.
the thing we have to ask ourselves is in that truth, what is our quality of life going to be like for
Right.
those of us
Yeah.
that choose to do the right thing versus those of us that don't?
Mm. Being at
Yeah.
choice, right? Being at
Yeah.
choice is such a gift and
Yeah.
to really like know that and claim that. So I want to really like accentuate, double click as they say, right? These jewels for black women out there, right? If you're a police officer or in the fire department, if you're law enforcement, if you're leading a nonprofit, or if you're walking into a boardroom, right? Like this notion of knowing that you walk in with your ancestors, right? Known or unknown, right? Chosen or familial, right? That they are there with you. And this aspect of holding on to something, something visual. I love that, right? Whether it's looking down at your feet. Sometimes I tend to wear socks, or I tend to put like a piece of African print on a piece of clothing to like just to remind me. But I
Mhm.
love that. I love that that tactile thing that you can walk in a room with, not only in your spirit, but something on your person or in your hand. That is powerful. I don't know if you're gonna see me in stilettos, though.
Oh, go ahead, try it one time.
Maybe
Listen,
not
girl,
try
let me
one
tell you
time.
something.
I'll
They're
try
gonna do
one
something to your whole body. That's
time.
it, plain and simple. Do something to your whole body.
Your whole
Make you
body.
look at yourself entirely different. You know,
Yes.
I'm short, right? I'm 5'3". But
Yeah.
baby, when I put those shoes on, you would swear I'm 6'1" and on the runway. Cause move. I
Not
need you to move. Yeah. I'm just doing my job. Now move.
that move. Just out here being fabulous. So as we begin to close, and I love this, right? We went from talking about the ancestors, and thank you so much sharing your beloveds with us. You yourself, right? At the golden age of being 60 right now, right? That you might be considered an auntie. You are an auntie now. Let's claim it, right? We're aunties. Uh, how would you how would you encourage the women out there listening to us right now, as an auntie with auntie wisdom, to really give themselves grace and self-care and forgiveness, particularly when it's hardest for them to do so?
Mm. I think the thing that I would say is go back to a time where
Mm,
you experienced something that was very challenging to you. And you
mhm,
said to yourself,
mhm,
I don't think I can do this.
mm,
And
mhm.
apparently you did because
Right.
you're watching this video.
Yeah.
So we have to remind ourselves of what is in us,
Yes.
and all that we have survived before. Everything we need to be the person we were designed to be is already in us. You
Mm,
know, it's kind of like we have to take a look at a tree.
yeah.
In the spring, it's beautiful and it's full of flowers and blossoms. In the
Mhm.
fall, the leaves change, but they're still beautiful.
Yeah.
And they serve a purpose and they fall
Yes.
to the ground. They enrich the soil.
Yes.
Your experiences so enrich your life,
Ooh,
so
yeah.
they fall to your feet so that you can walk a little bit higher, right?
Yes.
You're just like a tree. Your roots go down and they go down to search for those living waters that are going to nourish
Mm.
them. And for
Mhm.
me, those living waters are always going to be going back to the experiences that you made it through. And
Mhm.
that reminds you that it is in you. That stick to itness is in you. That
Yes.
ability to move forward is in you. You just got to
Mhm.
summon it. Every
Yeah.
time you got to summon it. Be like,
Mhm.
now look, I'm
Yeah.
tired, but let me go on and get them do this. you know,
Yes. Yes.
show up for yourself. It's so important to show up for yourself.
Yes. Yes. Because we can do it so much and so often for others, but like you said earlier, right? Take that cape
Mhm.
off, give to yourself what you so readily give to other people.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not even putting that cape on at Halloween. I don't need to dress up.
don't need
This
it.
what you getting.
Oh, Vanessa, sis, thank you so much. This has been so joyful, so enlightening, so inspirational. How can people find you on the socials or wherever else to stay connected to your good, good?
Oh, I would love for everyone to go to TikTok and follow me. It's Maybe Rose, MAE dash B, and then ROSC, which is after my grandmother, Allie Mae, and Rosemary that raised me. That's my body butter brand. But I do a lot of inspirational thoughts and processes and
Mhm.
encouragement. I do a lot of quiet storm videos and all that. I love music, and that reminds me of the fact that find something that speaks to you to release you. For me,
Yes,
it's music.
yes.
It really allows me to connect my feelings with something so that I don't rest in them and
Mm-hmm.
focus on them.
Mm-hmm.
And our good friend Joe Lunovitz says that if you sit with it long enough, the answer will come.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of stuff around that on my TikTok.
Yes.
It is Maybe Rose.
Mm-hmm.
You can either do that or put it in by my name, Vanessa Matthews. Either one of those, you can pull it up. But I'm on TikTok, and then that'll connect you to all my other social medias. I would love for you guys to follow me and
Yes,
interact with me, and let's support each other. Let's love each other. Let's
yes,
remind each other of the sisterhood of
yes,
good that we do
yes.
benefit everyone around us.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you so much. I'll make sure all that's dropped in the show notes as well so you can find Vanessa. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I adore you. Thank you all for listening and watching this episode of Ancestors and Aunties. And if anything touched your spirit, spoke to you, please like, share, subscribe. And as Vanessa said, let's share the love with our sisters and anyone out there who can use a little upliftment and joy and peace and light. Thank you so much. Love you, Vanessa. Thank you.